Doctors said if she hadn't received treatment, she might have died. Story 11. My friend had never been swimming before ever, so when a group of friends and I went to a river to hang out for an hour or so, I taught my friend a quick version of doggy paddling and quickly how to float on his back. I also showed him where the bank cut out, aka where he wouldn't be able to safely stand. We're swimming, having a good time, and he's got the hang of it. But then he floats on his back for too long and slowly gets dragged out past the bank and into the current. I shouted his name to get his attention, and once he realized he couldn't stand, he began to freak out, splashing and flailing and screaming, and soon he went underwater. The first girl closest to him immediately went down under to save him, but he was in such a state of panic that he began pushing her down in an attempt to get air. After 15 or so seconds of this, the girl came back up for air for herself. I watched him go under again, and the water flattened out. I was next closest. I saw what he'd done to the girl, so I took in the biggest breath I could and prepared to get thrashed. I dove down and scrambled to find him, and once I grabbed him, he shoved me down to try to get his own air. I was swimming as hard as I could to get him back to where he could stand. He wasn't making it easy. He was wildly swinging his limbs around and kicking me so hard. It took about 2 whole minutes to get to a point where I knew we were out of the current. Once we could stand, he sprinted out of the water and curled up in his own little cocoon, coughing and taking in huge gulps of air. Everyone was so relieved. There's a second part to the story. I had just lost a bunch of weight, and my class ring had fallen off of my finger in this struggle. I figured it was a lost cause, and that I'd never see it again. A whole 4 months later, I get a call from an ex's mother. My ex's little sister was at a banquet at the river, and a man had come up to her asking if she knew someone by my name who had graduated the year I did. His son was diving in the river and found my ring. I got it back. Karma is real. TLDR, I saved a friend from drowning in a river, lost a ring in the process, reaped the karma when I got it back 4 months later. Story 12. My sister has. She was walking to class and she passed a kid sitting in his car looking to be asleep, but he didn't look okay. She tapped on the window, but no response. She called 911. Once the cops and an ambulance arrived, she had to get to class. The cop who first reported to the scene called to tell her that the kid had odd and would have died if she hadn't called them when she did. She's awesome and my hero, not just for her actions on that day, but she is a social worker and does amazing things every day. Story 13.